This entire DJ playlist is made using AI, and I'm about to let VirtualDJ mix it for me using the Automix feature. But the real test is whether I can later upload this DJ set to YouTube and not get hit with a copyright claim. To see this through, I used today's sponsor, Musicful AI, and for this challenge, I decided to build a house DJ mix following this simple structure. 2 warm-up, mid-energy, and high-energy tracks, and 1 outro track. For the first warm-up track, I wanted to start simple. No vocals, just something to ease people into the mix. So I turned on the instrumental option and selected the latest model to get the best possible result. Then I wrote a quick prompt specifying things like the genre, BPM, intro, and outro lengths. And after clicking Create Song, I had 2 original songs to choose from. This is exactly what you want for an opening track. Something smooth, something you can blend easily. And you can tell straight away, it has a long intro and outro, which is perfect for DJing. The next test was to see whether it actually stuck to the BPM I gave it. So I took the track, dropped it into VirtualDJ's Automix, and the BPM was exactly on point. Now for the second warm-up track, I didn't want to jump in too fast, but I wanted to start adding a bit more life to the mix by adding some light vocals. So this time, I turned the instrumental option off and asked for a deep house track at 105 BPM with subtle vocal chops. This track was actually perfect for a follow-up. The rhythm and groove are clean, and those vocal chops just give it a bit more movement. But now comes the real test. Can this track transition cleanly with the first track? This actually blended like a real DJ set. And at this point, this was already sounding better than I expected. For the first mid-energy track, I wanted to introduce proper vocals, because this is usually the point in a DJ set where people start connecting more with the music. So I kept the same deep house foundation, but this time I asked for a track with female vocals, a steady groove, and a clean intro and outro. I also slightly increased the BPM to keep the energy moving forward. This was actually really good. The vocals were clear and not overpowering, and it sat nicely on top of the beat. After downloading the track, I added it to the Automix playlist, and I tested it with the previous track. The transition was smooth, and you could actually feel the lift in energy. Now, for the second mid-energy track, I wanted to push things a bit further. So I slightly shifted from deep house into house music, just to increase the energy and make the progression feel natural. I also asked for a track with a catchy vocal hook and a more upbeat rhythm.
Turn it up, don't ever stop. We're dancing to the sun. Feel the love in every drop. This is where our hearts are locked. This is where our hearts are locked. Move your body close to mine. Move your body close to mine.
I really liked this track because it actually felt like something you'd hear in a real DJ set. And again, the transition flowed naturally.
Strip it back, just breath and space. A whispered pulse, a quieter place. I'm on the edge of your frequencies. I'm on the edge of your frequency. Say my name in symmetry, then bring it in, let it rise again. Like dawn on chrome, like warm red. Midnight city, neon in your eyes.
At this point, this no longer felt like an experiment. This was starting to sound like a real DJ set. But now it was time for the real test, the high energy section. For the first high-energy track, I wanted something that could really carry the energy, so I asked for a more energetic house track with punchy drums and a catchy vocal hook, something people could instantly connect with and sing along.
Take it up, take it higher. Heartbeat quick but no wire. Say my name, say it louder. We don't stop, we only power. Clean intro, clean intro. Move that way, move that way. Hands to the sky, hands to the sky.
This was a proper club track. The vocal hook was catchy and the groove was perfect for dancing. So I added it to the playlist and tested the transition.
Comes up when the lights fade low. We still feel the glow in the quiet of the dawn. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, 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 go. Stepping, fresh cut, floor got space now. Hands up.
For the final high-energy track, I wanted to go all out, so I asked for a high-energy house track at 118 BPM with bigger drops and a more powerful rhythm. This actually came out better than I expected. The rhythm is strong, the drop feels bigger, this feels like a proper peak time track. And after testing it with the previous track, the transition flowed smoothly. This didn't feel like AI anymore. The energy was fully there. And I actually liked the second variation too, so I added it to the playlist as well. Now, every DJ set needs a proper ending. You can't just stop at high energy. You need something to bring the vibe down smoothly. So, for the final track, I went for something more melodic, a softer, deep house track to close the set, and this actually worked really well. This felt like a proper closing track, even coming from a high-energy song. It still blended in cleanly. You could barely notice the BPM drop.
Stay right here, stay right here. I can feel you near.
So now I had a full DJ set built entirely from AI-generated music. And after recording, it honestly sounded better than I expected. But now comes the real test. Can I upload this DJ mix to YouTube without getting hit by copyright? And there you go, no copyright restrictions. Since the tracks are generated through Musicful, you're not using copyrighted songs in the traditional sense. Now, does this replace real music? Not really, but as a tool, this is actually really interesting. If you want to try this for yourself, I'll leave a link to Musicful AI in the description. You can experiment with your own tracks and see how it fits into your DJ workflow.